Hello and welcome to Learn a Trade. Today's training is on the FBD 56 series frozen dispenser training. Today we'll go over module 3, which is product dispenser valves. I'd like to spend a little time just going over the components on these dispenser valves. Let's start with the different types of valves. Valve 1, which you see right here, this is called a SDV valve. Number 2 in the center, this is called your ADA DDV valve. Number 3 on the right here is called your DDV valve. Now these are 3 different types of valves, and it all depends on the customer and what they prefer. Um, in most cases, on the commercial side, they basically get whichever valves are already installed on the new units that are shipped to them. So you never know what type of valve they will show up with, but most times this is the more common valve that you see out in the field on the commercial side, and some of the other um, your other accounts that you may have, mom and pop shops or something like that. You may see some of these other valves being used, but basically these valves here, they get inserted into the faceplate. This is number 8, which is your faceplate assembly right here. And these valves will go they're inserted into the center hole of that faceplate, and these retainer clamps are used to hold the valves in and secure them. As you can see, each valve has a number of seals, O-rings on them to prevent leaks. So these retaining clamps, they secure that valve to the faceplate. Next, you'll have your your screw knobs that the faceplate will go onto the machine, and there would be 4 screw shafts that come through each hole, and then you would use these you could use these screw knobs to secure them to the machine. In some cases, they'll either use the screw knob to secure that to the machine, or they'll use a regular nut that you can secure that faceplate onto the machine with. Then next here, number 5, you have your vent valve. This is used when filling the barrel. It's also operation that's used on in within the machine's operation. If the barrel pressure gets too high, that pressure will push this pin out, will push this plunger out. It's on a spring. It's spring loaded, so that if that pressure gets too much, that spring will disengage, and then it will let some of the pressure off. It will vent that pressure off down into the drain. And if it's too bad, if it's a issue with a leaking expansion tank or a ruptured expansion tank, then you're gonna have there's gonna be a continuous drip, a continuous leak of product coming out of that barrel, because the vent is just staying open because the pressure is too high within the barrel. So this is a very important piece that they have on this faceplate. And then you have your washers. These washers are used when you use the nuts or the screw knob to secure it. You will use one of these washers on each of the screw shafts. And then over here, this is on for the back side of the faceplate. You'll have this insert that pushes in to the front, pushes in through the back of the faceplate, and this basically stabilizes the beater bar, which you'll see in a later module. Um, this will stabilize that beater bar so it's not bouncing around when it's spinning. And this right here, number 11, you have an O-ring. This is an O-ring, and that basically gets put on the back side of the faceplate here. And you'll usually use a little bit of 111 lubrication to put around it once you get it onto the faceplate. Put a little 111 lube around it, and then that's when you would push this whole assembly with the valve, the nozzle connected. You would push it in and secure your faceplate to the machine. So I know it seems like something so, pretty simple to some, but for those who are just beginning to get into this side of the industry, especially on the commercial side, these things are important to know as far as your components of the faceplate and knowing the different types of nozzles. So just as a quick review, you have your SDV valve, your ADA DDV valve, and your DDV valve. Okay, and you have your either the secure the faceplate with the nut and the washer, or you can use the screw knob and the washer. Um, these screw knobs are uh, fairly decent. They're like a hard plastic with a screw insert in there, so you can screw it onto the screw shaft. They're fairly uh, sturdy and stable. A lot of people like these better because they can pretty much get it on and off with their hand, and you don't want to go too tight with these when you're screwing these down. You definitely don't want to over tighten them and stuff like that. A lot of technicians tend to over tighten on these, and it just causes problems because, as you'll see in later modules, when we get to the foam pack and stuff like that, the screws the screw shafts that go through these holes for the faceplate to secure to, they are connected to the foam pack. So if you screw these down, like really cranking down on the nut or the knob and over tighten, if you're over tightening, you're loosening the shaft from the foam pack, and that causes damage to the foam pack, and then eventually that shaft is just going to break off. So to avoid that, you always just want to go just tight enough where either this nut is flush with the screw shaft, um, or tight enough where it's not going to just slip off or pop off on you. Okay, so that's an important thing to keep in mind. And feel free to pause this video, and if you can, you can screenshot this and you'll have a description of the valves and stuff like that in the diagram. So definitely feel free to do that. And that's all I have for this one. And I will see you all on the next module. Thank you very much.